What do you, before we go further, what do you, how do you feel about talking about some Jedi stuff? You wanna talk about some Jedi stuff here, Jason? I don't know how much of a fan you are.
I mean, I don't know.
Okay, so this is going to be contentious. It's going to be a bit. You're
a little contentious.
Okay. Well, that's all right. That's all right. We like that. Jason, him, and Georgia. You have some interesting thoughts on the philosophy of Jediism. That's kind of interesting. Can you give us just a brief understanding for our callers? Like what is this? Is this a real thing? What's going on here?
Sure. Thank you guys for having me on the call. And I can answer one question. As a habitual cat owner, I can tell you all cats are assholes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. You've all heard it here. It is settled science now.
Coincidentally, we're actually going to be talking a little bit about cats on the flagship show, so you should definitely stay tuned for that one.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Definitely will. Well, Jediism is a concept that was born of fiction and turned into reality. It's something that a Jedi lives in their daily lives. There's no temples, no lightsabers, no robes. I'm not lifting cars out of the mud with my mind. It's just,
I'd join if you were doing that, though. I'll tell you, if you were lifting things regularly out of the mud with your mind, I would sign up tomorrow. But
also, you're talking about no lightsabers. What do you call this?
Proof, folks. That's proof right there. I'm sorry. We cut you off. Keep going.
Sorry.
That's okay. So we're just people who live our lives in accordance with Jedi ideals and practices. I mean, sure, we understand that Star Wars is a fiction. It's a movie. It's not real. There's no denying that. But yet the authors and creators did draw inspiration from different real-world sources to build that fictional order of mystical knights. Sure. They did such a good job, in fact, that there really isn't a real-world comparison. There's not a single path out there that is exactly like the Jedi Knights. So, they borrow from Taoism, Christianity, Zen Buddhism, Stoicism, and many other ideologies that we can see that carry similarities. So as a Jedi, what we have done is taken the philosophical ideas that are good, level-headed ideas and taken those and put them into a philosophy of living so that one can live a life of compassion and of honor and chivalry and discipline and fulfilling one's obligations to the society around them and to their family and living a good human life.
Real quick, let me ask just to clarify for myself, but I mean I'm sort of familiar, but not terribly. It sounds to me though like there isn't really a supernatural component. Like it's not like most Jedis, I would assume, are not going to be running around like actually believing in this magical force thing. And, you said you're not lifting cars with your mind and stuff. Would you say that most of the people that are following this ideology are not going to be believing in all the supernatural magic-y woo-woo stuff?
I can't say that with 100% certainty because I do know some Jedi who do believe that the Force is literally an energy that connects all of us.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily believe that they're going to be lifting stuff up with their mind, but they do believe that we are all part of this universal energy, similar to the Tao, our Chi, our Ki, and that energy surrounds us and penetrates us and connects us all. Me personally, when I think about the Force and I talk about what that is, to me, the Force is that untapped potential and power that each individual has to be an extraordinary individual and to do extraordinary things in the world when their mind is disciplined and they have awareness of themselves and clarity of mind, and they can do amazing things with that. But like a lantern that's been covered with dust. We've been covered with ideas of standards of what you should be and how you should be and what defines success and what defines the kind of person that you should be. And what we seek to do is to bring out the force in us by clearing away all of that so that the pure light of the truth of who we are can shine out of us. And that's the force. It's the good. It's the potential that's stored within each and every individual to do good and to be an extraordinary person.
So I think for me, almost always when it comes to the problems that I have with religions or belief systems of any kind is almost always focused on the supernatural woo-woo claims, right? Or just claims that aren't well founded to begin with. When it comes to like the traditions or like the bite-sized nuggets of good ways to practice one's living and so forth, those I'm rarely as hardcore about, because I think a lot of there's a lot of belief systems out there that, you know, kind of have this general, you know, be a good person type feel to them, which is great, and I'm all for that. I support that. But when that is mixed with be a good person, and the correct way to do that is because of my fairy tale, like that's where I get, you know, problems. You know, I get really focused on those. It sounds to me like this is very much more a philosophical practice of how to, you know, how to live one's life and kind of how to navigate the problems in the world, and much less of the woo woo stuff,
Kind of like
which
taking on the tenets of Buddhism,
yeah,
but not actually believing in, you know, some of the woo aspects of you know, Buddhism. But we have actually seen where atheists will still believe in energies and still
sure,
believe in things like that. You have deconverts who will still pray. Now they're not praying to a god; they're praying kind of internally to try to give themselves some clarity. So yeah, no, I can see where a lot of that comes into play. So you know, I would say that if this works for you, if you know, continue to not be destructive, because we've definitely seen where too much of a good thing can absolutely be destructive. Like all of a sudden somebody comes up to you, say, hey, I'm a Sith, and it's like, oh well, now I need to get rid of that Sith. I really hope you're not that.
Now we've got to start a sword fight in the middle of this highway. Yeah, that might be problematic. Yeah, I would have to say definitely if you're in a boat where you're not attempting to dismantle the separation between church and state in my country, let's say, then I'm probably more comfortable with your, you know, belief system and so forth. If you're saying, hey, I'm going to violate the Constitution and try to push my religion down people's throats by passing laws, then I'm not going to be a fan of that, whatever the fuck the religion is. But in general, I think there is value in us as people finding some type of rituals or traditions in the broadest of sense, to say like this kind of helps focus us, or this kind of, you know, gives us clarity or something. There's a couple of different, I mean, we can see this in a handful of different places. You know, one, for instance, just being some of those, you know, big tech startups out west area, out in California stuff, where they start every day with everybody in the office getting together and, you know, say one nice thing that happened to you in the last 7 days or something, or, you know, and that just kind of gets everybody focused and gives everybody just kind of that good uplifting feeling that they're going to need, that's going to help propel them through their day. I'm always a fan of that stuff. Like I know some people that are non-religious and they say, oh, you shouldn't even advocate for meditation because it's on the line to woo woo. And it's like, well, I mean, I
It
think
doesn't. Why does it need to be? It's like
well,
just
right.
sitting there and focusing your thoughts, and I don't mean like focusing your thoughts like I'm going to make this. No, you just sit there
Right.
and like, okay, so what do I think about how this day is going to go, you know,
or
and
what would I like for my future? Like next week, where do I want to be? Where do I want to be in 2 years? You know, how did this thing affect me 3 days ago when I got in that car crash or whatever? Like, yeah, I think there is value in taking those moments of introspection. And it sounds like mostly that's kind of where this whole Jediism is kind of focused. It's a lot more about introspection and how do you engage in a positive and encouraging manner to the rest of the world, which again, like I'm probably going to be on board with that stuff, because it sounds like you're not on board with the Christian nationalists there, our wonderful Jason caller. So you are on my side. If you are not standing with those people, you are on my side. So, but
Absolutely.
yeah, give us some
Yeah,
more thoughts.
we seek to the Jedi path really centers around 5 practices that we refer to as a Jedi circle, and I oftentimes meditate walking in a circle while reciting these practices. The 5 practices are meditation, awareness, diplomacy, physical fitness, and self-discipline. So it's really almost kind of like a Shaolin monk, kind of a physical and mental art of disciplining oneself. There's 5 of those practices. There's 5 tenets that it backs up, which is peace, knowledge, serenity, harmony, and the force. And then there's 5 traits that are backed up by that, which is patience, objectivity, reliability, humility, and wisdom. And that's what we really seek to reinforce. And to have that self-honesty and that learning and that guidance and that self-sacrifice, that chivalry that Obi-Wan and all the characters exhibit in the Star Wars trilogy. We want to be the real-life heroes that are willing to take and self-sacrifice to help those that are weak. With wisdom, knowing when the right time is to intervene and when it might not be the right time to intervene, but to know that we have the capability and the discipline to do so if we're called upon, if we're needed.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of that. There's a lot of those sentiments that you were just expressing that just follows hand in hand with a lot of stuff that you'll hear from secular humanists, you know? And maybe if I had heard about Jediism before I had heard about secular humanism, maybe I'd be right along there with you, Jason. But I think again, there's, you know, we need to be more comfortable with reaching our arms out and connecting with people that, you know, share a lot of our values, but maybe just don't, you know, take the exact same label. I think there is value in that, especially when we do have so many religious organizations right now that are attacking all types of people and communities and ideas from all types of different directions, and it's just a real pain in the ass. And it'd be nice to have. I would take a whole world full of Jedis over the amount of Christian nationalists that we have right now. Like if somebody was like, it's got to be one of the two. You either have this group yelling and screaming, or you got a bunch of Jedis. I'd be like, oh, give me the Jedis, folks. Give me the Jedis.
Well, and
but
you know,
yeah,
something that's so true. But you know, one must also remember that there are, you know, we hear in the fiction stories about there being a light side of the force and a dark side of the force. And there is a light side and a dark side, even to Jediism, because
absolutely
the ability and the power of the mind to do good can also be wielded to do evil. And then also in the same sense, a mind that is unwieldy, that's undisciplined, that's controlled by hatred and ignorance and greed, can do so much destruction to the world around them. That really is the dark side of the force. And that's what we seek, is to understand that, you know, we may not be out here fighting dark Sith lords. I may not ever run into a Count Dooku with a red lightsaber. That would be
Please,
cool, though.
please call us back if you do.
Yeah, no,
by the way.
that'd be great.
Yes.
But, you know, I think about it like this. Do you remember in one of the movies when Luke Skywalker goes to Yoda for training, and Master Yoda tells him that he must face Darth Vader? And he walks into this cave and he sees Darth Vader. And he pulls out his lightsaber and he strikes at Darth Vader, busting open his helmet. And when he looks at it, he sees himself inside of that helmet. That tells me that the real battle with the dark side isn't with external forces. The dark side must be conquered within ourselves first. Then we can counter the evils, the Christian nationalism that wants to rule everybody, or whatever it is, whatever evil there is in the world. First, we must conquer the dark side in ourselves. Then we can conquer the dark side in the world around us.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I think a lot of those sentiments, Jason's, are things that fall right in line with secular humanism, fall right in line with, you know, a positive atheist culture and stuff. And yeah, again, had I just heard about Jediism maybe a week earlier, I might be there with you. But we're gonna.
I would say that, I mean, for me personally, I feel these things are entertainment, they're movies, and they're designed to, well, I mean, let's be honest, sell toys. But that's not, if you get more out of it than that, I mean, more power to you. If you continue to live a good life, you decide that you don't want to, you know, like SR said, if you see Count Dooku, you're not going to, you know, battle him. You know, that this isn't something that is a call to action to fight the dark side, because then you'll have created a Sith in me. I'm sorry.
Well, on that, before y'all start really battling it out on screen, Jason, we're gonna let you go, and we appreciate you hanging out with us. And you know, give us a call back and give us some updates, or kind of, you know, what you and your other Jedis are doing in your community to make the world a better place. We always love to hear that. So, but Jason, thank you so much for calling.
Thank you. Take care.